Good afternoon, everybody. It's your old pal Overland Metalhead here. Just remember, if you're going out today, put on your masks, protect your life, and protect others. So anyway, today it's the 4th anniversary of the passing of Marianne Ihlen, the woman who was a muse in Leonard Cohen's life. Now, for all these people who don't know about Leonard Cohen, alright, he was originally like a poet, a writer. And then one time he got a grant, so he moved to London. He hated the weather in London, so then he ended up on this Greek island called Hydra. And in Hydra, he met this Norwegian woman called Marianne Ihlen, who had recently separated from her husband named Axel, who was a famous Norwegian. And then she was like left with like a son. So for the next 10 years, Leonard Cohen and Marianne were together. They never got married. They were never really husband and wife. But basically Marianne was his, common-law partner for the 10 years. Like, he would spend 6 months in Hydra in Greece and then the other 6 months in Montreal. But the sad thing was, they never got together because Leonard became more of an artist. And when I was reading the book about Marianne's life, the ending of the book basically says that Marianne moves out of the house in Hydra, and the person who moves in is Leonard Cohen, his son, and his new girlfriend. This is quite surprising. So, Marianne ended up back in Norway, marrying a guy, and she saw Leonard Cohen when he came to Oslo and stuff. And then Marianne, sadly, she passed away of leukemia on this day 4 years ago in 2016. And so before Marianne died, Leonard Cohen wrote her a letter saying, "I've always loved you, I can reach out my hands and stuff." And both their bodies are falling apart. And so the sad thing was, Marianne died on this day in 2016, and then Leonard Cohen died on the 7th of November the same year, only about August, September, just less than 4 months. Which kind of reminds me, I was back in Australia 12th of July 2016, then I left 7th of November, same day Leonard Cohen died. Yeah, and also Marianne, she's buried in Oslo. She's buried in the main cemetery. I was wanting to visit her grave this year, but the cemetery was actually closed the day I went to Oslo, because it was a Sunday. But the funny thing was, I actually did go to that cemetery 2 years prior, but I had no prior knowledge of this woman called Marianne. So if you're out there, you really should watch this documentary called Marianne and Leonard, Words of Love and stuff. It's really touching, and it was very tear-jerking to me when I watched it, because at the end of the movie I cried because of how Marianne sees Leonard in concert in Oslo, and then they show footage of her in the hospital on her deathbed, when her friend reads out the letter that Leonard Cohen has sent. So anyway, God bless Marianne Ihlen and God bless Leonard Cohen. One day a Canadian should travel to Norway and then leave a maple leaf on Marianne's grave, and maybe one day a Norwegian should travel to Montreal and leave a Norwegian Christmas tree on Leonard's grave. It's quite symbolic. It's kind of like this guy, right? His uncle died in World War II, so he brought some stones over from New Zealand to his uncle's grave in Tunisia, and then from Tunisia he brought some driftwood back and left it on his parents' grave, so it's an inner connection. Anyway, over and out.